All right, guys, topic today with Coach Laird. So, tee work. I'm going to kind of break down the biggest flaw I see people do with tee work. There's a lot of people that claim they do tee work. There's now, for some reason, in 2023, there's people that think the tee work isn't productive. For me, using the tee is the foundation of any movement you do as a hitter. You've got to be able to do or execute a mechanic, a drill, a movement pattern, however you want to describe it, in a stationary position first. Think about it as like a fighter or a boxer shadow boxing, or working the heavy bag, working the speed bag, head movement, defense, being able to do it in a controlled environment first before executing it on an actual live, chaotic environment where you have to worry about timing from someone else. That's why hitting is so much harder than people realize, is because, first of all, you have to be able to control your timing, your rhythm, tempo, all of those things when you're by yourself. Then you got to be able to do it when you're working on the timing and rhythm from the pitcher. That's where people make the mistake in thinking, well, hey, I'm just going to work on the screen, I'm just going to work on BP, screen toss, whatever. But they're not understanding, you've got to be able to control your own body, understand what it's doing, feel what it's doing. And it's very, very hard to do that when you're trying to develop and learn how to master the skill of hitting without using the tee. Again, I'm a big tee believer. If you're a guy that's watching this and doesn't believe in tee, that's fine. There's some people that believe the earth is flat. Not my problem. But I'm going to tell you, this is the biggest mistake that I see guys do. So guys will hit off the tee and they're not using it for its purpose. They're not working on specific flaws. They're not working on bettering themselves or working on weak points or cold spots, or someone's pulling off, not working on keeping the front side on, someone that's drifting their hips and not using their hips properly. They're not working on these things. They're not focusing on little things. And the tee helps you hit with a purpose if you know what the purpose is. But the biggest mistake I see is guys hit the tee, it's stationary, and I see just these big daddy hacks. And the body's flying all over the place, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're not executing the drill right. You're just trying to hit it as hard as you can. Any kid, young kid, older kid that can swing out of their shoes off the tee, that attack angle, that shit ain't gonna fly in the game. It might fly against someone who's gonna be bagging groceries in the future, but it's not gonna fly against people that are actually going to be pitching and throwing at a high level. It's just not gonna happen. So when you're hitting off the tee, first and foremost, you've got to master all main 9 contact points, and we work on 11 contact points here at LT. Technically, if you want to include, it's more like 13 contact points if you want to include certain spots, but the contact points: low and away, middle away, high and away, low middle, middle, high middle, low and in, middle in, high and in. Those are your 9 normal contact points, spots in the zone. But we also will work on hitting a ball off the plate. Even 2 balls off the plate, low, middle, and high. We'll work on hitting inside pitches a little bit closer than normal to keep the hands in tight. Why? If I'm able to hit those 2 pitches, a ball off and a ball in, or 2 balls off, it's going to make my muscle memory and my feel on hitting the pitches that are normally or regularly outside or normally inside much easier. If I can execute something that's harder, right, the over the plate part's going to be a lot easier for me to do, and I'm sitting there dropping balls as I'm demonstrating. But when you guys do this, that would be my first and foremost goal. So if someone struggles with low and away, they're doing long tee and they're actually seeing where the path is. Now the other part, so you're mastering contact points to where you see a certain pitch, you've hit it so many times off the tee, that's muscle memory. You see it, you react, boom, you hammer it. Now there's other things that you can work on, like working on firing the hips, working on getting the hips involved. So we'll do a lot of angle drills to where our foot gets down, or we're trying to turn the hips and get it working right through the middle of the field. We'll do open angle drills. We're working on keeping the front shoulder on and getting the hands to stay through. What I see, the other mistake besides people taking huge daddy hacks, is they're not focusing on doing drill work with it. They're just going, okay, I'm going to push the ball oppo, I'm going to hit oppo, and I'm gonna hit the ball inside. They're not focusing on mastering small things or small flaws or fixing flaws in the swing. So I'm gonna end it with this. When you're doing tee work, you gotta ask yourself these two questions. What are the flaws that I need to work on? Low and away, low and in, high and in. Am I hitting with topspin when I get inside pitch? Am I flying open when I get an inside pitch? Am I able to stay through an outside pitch? Am I able to hit the ball just as hard outside as I am inside? These are things that you've got to learn and feel in a controlled environment before you do it in a chaotic environment where you're working on the timing from someone else. That's why tee is so important, because it allows you to get the feels, it allows you to see the results, it allows you to think of different cues and different, feels of I'm working more top hand, working more bottom hand here. Okay, I'm still coming off the ball. Maybe I approach to hit at the right field. I got to think a little bit more down the right field line on certain pitches. These are all things that's going to help you dramatically. So when it comes to tee work, stop taking daddy hacks. Focus on hard line drives. Stop hitting these big fly balls or these ground balls or balls with topspin. You got to stop that shit. I'm an old school guy with a lot of new school thoughts. Master hitting that back net. I don't care who doesn't like it. It's barrel control, it's back control. It's gonna help you stay flat. The more direct and the better you can be at controlling this, the better you're gonna be able to adjust to pitches in the game. If you don't have barrel control, which is where the tee helps with, you're not gonna have it in the game. If you don't have it on tee, it's not gonna be in the game. So focus on those little things. The second part, am I hitting with a purpose? What am I doing today? How am I trying to get myself better? It's very simple. What are my weaknesses? What are my purpose? Execute those two things, know what you're trying to do, boom. You're gonna be better here. I guarantee it. Coach Laird, out.